guys, and welcome to your first What Happened. Today we are going to talk about Shelly Miscavige, and for some of you that may not know who that is, she's married to David Miscavige, and they are the leaders of the Scientology church cult, whatever you want to call it. And she was named Queen of Scientology. Shelly Miscavige has not been seen since 2007 at her father's funeral. Regardless at attempts to have wellness checks done on her, no one has seen her or heard from her. And David and Shelly took over the Scientology leadership role in 1986 when L. Ron Hubbard died. Shelly's father-in-law, Ron, left the church in 2012, and Ron made a statement saying, "Shelly will never be free." Ron was also quoted saying, "These are some bad people. They have no conscience, and that's how they do this." Despite their high profile with the church, only David has been making public appearances. David never addresses the question her family and friends want to know. Where is Shelly? Some of you may know or not, but Leah Remini is an ex-Sea Org member. She's part of the Scientology group, and Leah Remini also has reason to believe that the church is hiding something in regards to Shelly's disappearance. Leah has been the light into the church cult. The PR line from the church cult says that Shelly, she's fine and she's alive. Leah, however, stated she does not believe that. These cryptic answers fueled the mystery. Did she flee the church? Did she go into hiding? There have been many theories on what happened to Shelly, but no real answers are really ever given. The church cult stated Ron is seeking to make money off of his famous son, David. Another father exposing his son in this manner is a sad betrayal stated by the cult. The church cult also stated a ridiculous remark about Leah Remini. She's been stalking the Miscaviges for years. She has a psychotic obsession. Leah has exposed to the world some very concerning things, and to me, they're very valid. There are numerous ex-members now coming out and exposing this church cult. Allegedly, some of the accusations that have been stated are sexual abuse, physical abuse, and being held like a prisoner. As an outsider looking in and hearing witness testimony, how can we see this church cult any different? All these people are lying, and for what? Actually, a lot have lost their family members, moms, dads, brothers, and sisters. These ex-members have zero to gain from doing this and a lot to lose. If I just went into L. Ron Hubbard and whom he was friends with and choices that he made, it would be enough for anyone with an open mind and not a controlled, fear-mongering mind to see exactly what Scientology is really and truly all about. However, that is not what I'm here to discuss with you guys today. I am here to find out what happened to Shelly Miscavige. Why is this allowed? If I called my best friend or a family member, they would try. If their attempts were unsuccessful, wouldn't it be fair to say I could file a missing persons report? Would the law enforcement say they saw her if they didn't? Shelly was last seen at her father's funeral in 2007, surrounded by heavy security. Before this, she had not been seen for 2 years. 2 years! The people that were close to the Miscaviges said that David and Shelly's relationship seemed more like a business relationship, and like David was more like her boss than her husband. Regardless of the reports of no PDA by David or Shelly, I myself do not think this proves that they're not in love. Regardless of any intimate settings or not, to me, just to me, my opinion, that doesn't justify to me that there is no love there. Every relationship is different, and that just cannot be a deciding factor on the relationship. However, we are all allowed our own opinions and capable of making our own judgments. To me, it just doesn't scream anything, but that's besides the point. A former Sea Org member from the church cult said they were just an odd couple. Because your religion itself is an odd. Anyways, they even slept in separate bedrooms, they said. And I will say again, all relationships are different. Something they did have for sure in common was a business relationship, without a doubt. Many ex-members believe David had Shelly banished from the church cult. She was sent to an undisclosed location to never see or have contact with the outside world again. When the cult church is asked questions in regards to Shelly, they give generic answers of, she's on a special project or visiting family. Wait, if she's visiting family, couldn't that possibly be verified? But not if her family is in Scientology. So scratch that, never mind. Ex-Sea Org members state what happened to Shelly is simple. The closer you get to David, the harder you will fall. It is a law of gravity, really, and it's just a matter of when. As time would go on, it was almost as if Shelly just didn't exist anymore. In 2006, when Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Leah was attending the party and had asked, "Where's Shelly?" to another Sea Org member. And they would scurry around, not addressing the question. And then Leah had stated the same thing to another Sea Org member, that if this is the wedding of the century for our church, why wouldn't her friend Shelly be there? I mean, it is a legit question, right? I think it is. While Leah was at the church for the wedding, she was talking to a spokesperson for the church cult and said, "Don't you think it's weird that Shelly isn't here?" Legit, right? Like, it's a normal question. Why is our friend not here? It was time to file a missing person report with LAPD. It would be interesting to know how you could wait 8 years to find your friend. It's hard for me. My head to think about it. So I mean no disrespect. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around how you can wait that long. I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to understand. Regardless, she filled out a police report on a missing person report with LAPD. To no avail. It went nowhere. Go figure. The report was unfounded, whatever that means, and did not lead to any answers on what happened to Shelly Miscavige. The police said they met with Shelly and it was a closed case. Okay, let's just imagine for 1 second, if it comes out they never met with her and she had legit never been seen since her dad's funeral. Right? We know that LE can be corrupt, as well as any position, any person, human on this planet can be corrupt. But we also have to consider the state that this was done in California. And I don't think I need to say much more than that. The rules are just really different. No judging, they just are. The church cult has since said that Leah's report was done in bad faith, questions the ex-member's credibility. Oh, okay, and this is coming from a Sea Org member. Like they're gonna turn their back on this cult church. No way, Jose. Leah waited 8 years to file a missing persons report on her friend. I'm just saying. I mean, do these people think we buy this BS? I'm just curious. Leah went on to say she had not seen any proof that Shelly is alive and doing well. Leah went on to pretty much say, F LAPD, I'm calling BS. I like Leah. She is a feisty and broke the chains off this church cult open and shines a bright light right on them. Leah stated she does not know if her friend is alive and is dedicated to finding Shelly. Leah would love to be proven wrong. Ex-Sea Org members, however, do believe Shelly is alive. She is being held at a compound that was made for Armageddon. They have several, but the one they think she is being held at is Lake Arrowhead in California. A very heavily secured property. But why? I guess her and David had a huge argument, and after this argument, poof, she's no longer seen. The ex-Sea Org members say he has like inside knowledge at Lake Arrowhead and he's pretty confident that she's still being held at the complex. So what was the argument? What happened, right? Well, let's paint the picture first off, okay? David's 5'5", biggest narc around the cult, okay? I mean, the guy would tell on someone if they ate an extra french fry at this point. First thing I think of when I see him, oh, short man syndrome, like very angry guy because he's short. Sorry if I offend anyone, but that's what I think. A lot of members started to leave after 3 years of his tyrant behavior. Go figure, I would have left long before if I would have ever been a member. The accusations of abuse and humility were high. One ex-Sea Org member made a statement that helps us to understand who this leader really was. He said, if Shelly was not abused, she would be the first. Wow, that speaks volumes. Shelly was also seen as a tad jealous. I mean, I'm a tad jealous, so I can kind of empathize with her a little bit, just a little bit in my character. But one night, she barged into a leader's office and stated, "Keep your filthy wife off of my husband. She is always putting her tits in his face." Shelly was convinced he was having an affair with this lady. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, Shelly, trust your gut, girl, because you're probably right. Many of the ex-Sea Org members said they witnessed verbal abuse. There are definitely some strong opinions about who Shelly exactly was. Some say it is as David wore on her and she took it out on others. Her close friends said a lot of people thought she was a horrible bitch. But if you got past the wall, you got to see the kind side of Shelly. Shelly was left to do David's bidding, so therefore she was just like David. But she did have a softer side, so Shelly actually had a tough life. Shelly's core decency seemed clear to other members. If someone was sick, she was the one who made sure they received ample care. Her niece, Jenna Miscavige Hill, recalls a convo with her inquiring about her parents who fled the church. Hill assumed she was fishing for intel, but Shelly said, "I'm not interested in all that. I just want to know how they're doing personally." She felt the maternal side of Shelly. So Shelly was also the only one who stood up to her husband and the leader. And for that, she's a badass. She would adjust rules and be the voice of reason for David. She would push him out of a room while yelling at people saying, "You don't want to do this." So she helped a lot in that aspect. But on the flip side, she was always stressed, no sleep, just ran ragged. And because of this, always in a bad mood. I feel her bad mood is very valid. I'm just going to go ahead and give her the pass on that. Here you go. It was just a god-awful situation. In 2006, Shelly was put on a project that numerous other Sea Org members had tried to do, but were unsuccessful. Shelly's attempts at the project were unsuccessful as well, and were all rejected by David. By this time, the two were communicating afar. Then, uncharacteristically of David, he felt he needed to spend time in LA, which housed the church cult publishing unit. Meantime, Shelly went to the org board. Then, for reasons only known to her, she made 2 executive decisions without the permission of David. She decimated the chart and informed people of their new titles and duties. Go girl. Additionally, in order to renovate their living quarters, she had some of his belongings boxed up and moved them to a temporary housing unit. Within days, members noticed Shelly seemed to be, nervous and twitchy, like she knew she was on borrowed time. She puttered around and became a recluse for a few weeks, telling her staff not to bother, telling her staff she can make her own meals. She seemed undeserving, knowing she was in a crap load of trouble. Shelly was stripped of her duties and was heavily monitored, especially at her father's funeral. She ran into an ex-Sea Org member and told them she had effed up. Next thing, it seemed, a member was told, "You no longer have to do Shelly's laundry anymore. She's on a special assignment." All in all, if she is at Lake Arrowhead, she will stay there. She is devoted to L. Ron Hubbard. Thing is if she decided to leave and be done, she is literally the key to shutting this cult church down. So knowing David and his abusive, controlling, freakish behavior, she will probably never get the chance to escape, even if she wanted to. Religions and cults are fascinating. The control that they have over a human is interesting, scary, and of course, very sad. So this is what I have about what happened to Shelly Miscavige. I hope one day she does get free and the church cult does get exposed. Until next time.